1 Samuel chapter 8. Samuel's sons take bribes and pervert judgment. The Israelites seek for a king to rule over them. Samuel rehearses the nature and evils of kingly rule. The Lord consents to give them a king. Chapter 9. Saul, the son of Kish, a Benjamite, is a choice and goodly person. He is sent to seek his father's asses. The Lord reveals to Samuel the seer that Saul is to be king. Saul goes to Samuel and is entertained by him. Chapter 10. Samuel anoints Saul to be captain over the Lord's inheritance. Samuel manifests the gift of seership. Saul prophesies among the prophets, and the Lord gives him a new heart. He is chosen king at Mizpeh. Chapter 13. Saul offers a burnt offering. The Lord rejects him and chooses another captain over his people. Chapter 15. Saul is commanded to smite and destroy the Amalekites and all that they have. He saves some animals to sacrifice. Saul is rejected as king and told that to obey is better than sacrifice. Samuel destroys Agag. Chapter 16. The Lord chooses David of Bethlehem as king. He is anointed by Samuel. Saul chooses David as his companion and armor-bearer.
June 8 to 14th, the Lord looketh on the heart. Saul was a keeper of donkeys. Though tall and handsome, he was little in his own sight and self-conscious about his family heritage. See 1 Samuel chapter 9. Verse 2. And he had a son, whose name was Saul, a choice young man, and a goodly, and there was not among the children of Israel a goodlier person than he. From his shoulders and upward he was higher than any of the people. 3. And the asses of Kish Saul's father were lost. And Kish said to Saul his son, Take now one of the servants with thee, and arise, go seek the assess. 21. And Saul answered and said, Am not I a Benjamite, of the smallest of the tribes of Israel? And my family the least of all the families of the tribe of Benjamin? Wherefore then speakest thou so to me? On the day he was to be presented before Israel as their king, he didn't show up. He was so nervous he hid himself. 1 Samuel chapter 10 verse 17. And Samuel said, When thou wast little in thine own sight, wast thou not made the head of the tribes of Israel, and the Lord anointed thee king over Israel? Looking at Saul, you might not have guessed that he would lead the Israelites to victory over their enemies, or that he would later become prideful and rebel against the Lord. David was a keeper of sheep. He wasn't as physically impressive as his 7 older brothers. On the day Samuel came to choose a new king for Israel, it didn't seem worthwhile to include David among the possible candidates, so he was left out in the fields with the sheep. Looking at David, you might not have guessed that he would have the faith and courage to defeat a giant and become Israel's most successful king.
But the Lord sees past our labels, our physical appearance, our insecurities. He looks, instead, on the heart. 1 Samuel chapter 16 verse 7, But the Lord said unto Samuel, Look not on his countenance, or on the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord seeth not as man seeth, for man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart. And even when our heart isn't quite right, if we're willing, he will give us another heart. 1 Samuel chapter 10 verse 9. And it was so, that when he had turned his back to go from Samuel, God gave him another heart. And all those signs came to pass that day. Ideas for learning at home and at church. Jesus Christ is my King. 1 Samuel chapter 8. Samuel's sons take bribes and pervert judgment. The Israelites seek for a king to rule over them. Samuel rehearses the nature and evils of kingly rule. The Lord consents to give them a king. Tells of an event that would forever change the destiny of the Israelites. For protection against their enemies, the Israelites wanted what their neighbors had, a king to rule over them. As you read about their request and the Lord's response, think about who you look to for safety and guidance. Consider what it means to let the Lord reign over you.
1 Samuel chapter 8 verse 7 And the Lord said unto Samuel, Hearken unto the voice of the people in all that they say unto thee, for they have not rejected thee, but they have rejected me, that I should not reign over them. Over the coming weeks, you will read about a number of kings called to lead Israel. As you learn about them, consider the following questions. How were the Lord's warnings fulfilled in 1 Samuel chapter 8 verse 10 And Samuel told all the words of the Lord unto the people that asked of him a king. 11 And he said, This will be the manner of the king that shall reign over you. He will take your sons, and appoint them for himself, for his chariots, and to be his horsemen, and some shall run before his chariots. 12 And he will appoint him captains over thousands, and captains over 50s. And will set them to ear his ground, and to reap his harvest, and to make his instruments of war, and instruments of his chariots. 13 And he will take your daughters to be confectionaries, and to be cooks, and to be bakers. 14 And he will take your fields, and your vineyards, and your olive yards, even the best of them, and give them to his servants. 15 And he will take the tenth of your seed, and of your vineyards, and give to his officers, and to his servants. 16 And he will take your menservants, and your maidservants, and your goodliest young men, and your asses, and put them to his work. 17 He will take the tenth of your sheep, and ye shall be his servants. 18 And ye shall cry out in that day because of your king which ye shall have chosen you, and the Lord will not hear you in that day.
How were the children of Israel affected by their choice to have an earthly king? How is Jesus Christ different from earthly kings? Consider what worldly influences you may need to remove from your life to let Christ be your king. 1 Samuel chapter 9 Saul, the son of Kish, a Benjamite, is a choice and goodly person. He is sent to seek his father's asses. The Lord reveals to Samuel the seer that Saul is to be king. Saul goes to Samuel and is entertained by him. Chapter 10 Samuel anoints Saul to be captain over the Lord's inheritance. Samuel manifests the gift of seership. Saul prophesies among the prophets, and the Lord gives him a new heart. He is chosen king at Mizpah. God calls people by prophecy to serve in his kingdom. As you study about how God chose Israel's kings, 1 Samuel chapter 9 verse 15 Now the Lord had told Samuel in his ear a day before Saul came, saying 16 Tomorrow about this time, I will send thee a man out of the land of Benjamin, and thou shalt anoint him to be captain over my people Israel, that he may save my people out of the hand of the Philistines. For I have looked upon my people, because their cry is come unto me. 17 And when Samuel saw Saul, the Lord said unto him, Behold the man whom I spake to thee of. This same shall reign over my people. 1 Samuel chapter 10 verse 1 Then Samuel took a vial of oil, and poured it upon his head, and kissed him, and said, Is it not because the Lord hath anointed thee to be captain over his inheritance? 2 When thou art departed from me today, then thou shalt find 2 men by Rachel's sepulchre in the border of Benjamin at Zelzah, and they will say unto thee, The asses which thou wentest to seek are found, and lo, thy father hath left the care of the asses, and sorroweth for you, saying, What shall I do for my son?
1 Samuel chapter 10 verse 3 Then shalt thou go on forward from thence, and thou shalt come to the plain of Tabor, and there shall meet thee 3 men going up to God to Bethel, one carrying 3 kids, and another carrying 3 loaves of bread, and another carrying a bottle of wine. 4 And they will salute thee, and give thee 2 loaves of bread, which thou shalt receive of their hands. 5 After that thou shalt come to the hill of God, where is the garrison of the Philistines. And it shall come to pass, when thou art come thither to the city, that thou shalt meet a company of prophets coming down from the high place with a psaltery, and a tabret, and a pipe, and a harp, before them. And they shall prophesy. 6 And the Spirit of the Lord will come upon thee, and thou shalt prophesy with them, and shalt be turned into another man. 7 And let it be, when these signs are come unto thee, that thou do as occasion serve thee. For God is with thee. 8 And thou shalt go down before me to Gilgal, and, behold, I will come down unto thee, to offer burnt offerings, and to sacrifice sacrifices of peace offerings. 7 days shalt thou tarry, till I come to thee, and show thee what thou shalt do. 9 And it was so, that when he had turned his back to go from Samuel, God gave him another heart. And all those signs came to pass that day. 10 And when they came thither to the hill, behold, a company of prophets met him. And the Spirit of God came upon him, and he prophesied among them. 11 And it came to pass, when all that knew him beforetime saw that, behold, he prophesied among the prophets, then the people said one to another, What is this that is come unto the son of Kish? Is Saul also among the prophets? 12 And one of the same place answered and said, But who is their father? Therefore it became a proverb. Is Saul also among the prophets?
1 chapter 16 verse 1 And the Lord said unto Samuel, How long wilt thou mourn for Saul, seeing I have rejected him from reigning over Israel? Fill thine horn with oil, and go, I will send thee to Jesse the Bethlehemite, for I have provided me a king among his sons too. And Samuel said, How can I go? If Saul hear it, he will kill me. And the Lord said, Take an heifer with thee, and say, I am come to sacrifice to the Lord 3, and call Jesse to the sacrifice, and I will show thee what thou shalt do. And thou shalt anoint unto me him whom I name unto thee 4. And Samuel did that which the Lord spake, and came to Bethlehem. And the elders of the town trembled at his coming, and said, Comest thou peaceably? 5. And he said, Peaceably, I am come to sacrifice unto the Lord. Sanctify yourselves, and come with me to the sacrifice. And he sanctified Jesse and his sons, and called them to the sacrifice. 6. And it came to pass, when they were come, that he looked on Eliab, and said, Surely the Lord's anointed is before him. 7. But the Lord said unto Samuel, Look not on his countenance, or on the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord seeth not as man seeth, for man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart. 8. Then Jesse called Abinadab, and made him pass before Samuel. And he said, Neither hath the Lord chosen this. 9. Then Jesse made Shammah to pass by. And he said, Neither hath the Lord chosen this. 10. Again, Jesse made 7 of his sons to pass before Samuel. And Samuel said unto Jesse, The Lord hath not chosen these.
1 Samuel chapter 16 verse 11 And Samuel said unto Jesse, Are here all thy children? And he said, There remaineth yet the youngest, and, behold, he keepeth the sheep. And Samuel said unto Jesse, Send and fetch him, for we will not sit down till he come hither. 12. And he sent, and brought him in. Now he was ruddy, and withal of a beautiful countenance, and goodly to look to. And the Lord said, Arise, anoint him. For this is he. 13. Then Samuel took the horn of oil, and anointed him in the midst of his brethren, and the Spirit of the Lord came upon David from that day forward. So Samuel rose up, and went to Ramah. Look for passages that help you understand what it means to be called of God by prophecy in the Lord's Church today. Articles of Faith 5 We believe that a man must be called of God by prophecy, and by the laying on of hands by those who are in authority, to preach the gospel and administer in the ordinances thereof. You might consider putting yourself in the place of the leader extending the calling, Samuel, the person being called, Saul and David, and the people they are called to serve, the Israelites. What do you learn from their words and actions in these chapters?
To obey is better than sacrifice. Considering how timid Saul seemed in 1 Samuel chapter 10, it's surprising to read about his rebellion and stubbornness after he became king. 1 Samuel chapter 15 verse 23 For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. Because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, he hath also rejected thee from being king. Why do you think this happened? In 1 Samuel 13, 5-14, what attitudes and behaviors do you see that led to his downfall? In 1 Samuel chapter 15 Saul is commanded to smite and destroy the Amalekites and all that they have. He saves some animals to sacrifice. Saul is rejected as king and told that to obey is better than sacrifice. Samuel destroys Agag. You'll read about a commandment from the Lord that Saul didn't obey because he thought he had a good reason. To learn from Saul's poor choices, look at verse 22 and replace the words sacrifice and fat of rams with things that seem good but are not as important as hearing and obeying the Lord. How have you been blessed as you've put the Lord's will first in your life?
1 Samuel chapter 13 verse 5 And the Philistines gathered themselves together to fight with Israel, 30,000 chariots, and 6,000 horsemen, and people as the sand which is on the seashore in multitude. And they came up, and pitched in Michmash, eastward from Bethaven. 6 When the men of Israel saw that they were in a strait, for the people were distressed. Then the people did hide themselves in caves, and in thickets, and in rocks, and in high places, and in pits. 7 And some of the Hebrews went over Jordan to the land of Gad and Gilead. As for Saul, he was yet in Gilgal, and all the people followed him trembling. 8 And he tarried 7 days, according to the set time that Samuel had appointed. But Samuel came not to Gilgal, and the people were scattered from him. 9 And Saul said, Bring hither a burnt offering to me, and peace offerings. And he offered the burnt offering 10, and it came to pass, that as soon as he had made an end of offering the burnt offering, behold, Samuel came, and Saul went out to meet him, that he might salute him. 11 And Samuel said, What hast thou done? And Saul said, Because I saw that the people were scattered from me, and that thou camest not within the days appointed, and that the Philistines gathered themselves together at Michmash. 12 Therefore said I, The Philistines will come down now upon me to Gilgal, and I have not made supplication unto the Lord. I forced myself therefore, and offered a burnt offering. 13 And Samuel said to Saul, Thou hast done foolishly. Thou hast not kept the commandment of the Lord thy God, which he commanded thee. For now would the Lord have established thy kingdom upon Israel for ever. 14 But now thy kingdom shall not continue. The Lord hath sought him a man after his own heart, and the Lord hath commanded him to be captain over his people, because thou hast not kept that which the Lord commanded thee.